Welcome to Women Should Know, the podcast and online show that dives into conversations that every woman needs to hear. From career to confidence, relationships, and real life wisdom, we're keeping it unfiltered, raw, and real. I'm Nicole Hurst. Let's get into it. Hello, everyone. This is Mariah. Mariah, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, everyone. So my name is Dr. Mariah Prince Allen. I am a board certified nurse practitioner who have a doctorate degree from Duke University. And I am also the owner of Telehealth for Her, which is a virtual women's wellness practice where I help high achieving women who are going through hormone imbalances, helping them with their hormones, their gut health, and their metabolic health to help them have sustainable weight loss and just overall longevity. I got into this particular field after just years of noticing that women were struggling and not really getting the answers that they were hoping for and looking for in traditional healthcare. And I really just wanted to be a licensed healthcare provider that can really give them the answers that they need and really dig into the root causes that we often miss in traditional medicine. So that is a little bit about me, and I'm super excited to be here to provide you with as much knowledge and as wealth as I can.
I love that. And I love that it's telehealth because I feel like one in this day and age, like that's so handy. But I know obviously you don't live in Utah where I live and most of our audience is, but I also feel like it's really hard to find someone that I feel comfortable with talking like with this type of, medical stuff with. I haven't had good experiences with doctors. So it's really nice to be able to talk to someone, one that is going to understand like women's health and hormones.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, that you offer like telehealth. So that's fantastic.
Yeah, I decided to do initially, I wanted to actually open up a brick and mortar, but I felt like that was going to, one, be a lot of overhead costs. But then also with the world of COVID, I think we all love the idea of then telemedicine and telehealth. It's convenient. You can get help wherever you are. I sometimes have clients who are like picking up their kids in the car from school and they're just like logging on just to do like a quick health check and see how things are going. So I really have noticed that women are actually, to my surprise, even more open to telemedicine. Even when they have the option of doing it in person versus telemedicine, they usually always follow back up with me via telemedicine. So I just decided to keep it that way.
I love that. And I mean, it makes sense. We're so busy. It's nice that you can take a 10-minute break in your car and like have a conversation.
Exactly, or in between work meetings or something.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I love it. Okay, so we're just gonna jump right in.
Let's do
What
it.
are what are some of the earliest signs of perimenopause that most women don't recognize?
I would say that most people, when they think about menopause, they don't actually think about perimenopause. So we'll start there for a second, because I think when women think of menopause, they're like, okay, yeah, when I'm in my 50s and 60s and I don't have a period anymore. But we seem to forget that there is a window of time where about 10 years prior to women not having their last menstrual period, that they will actually have perimenopause. And so perimenopause is that time where women are having maybe like irregular periods. They're noticing like these like subtle changes and subtle symptoms like unexplained weight gain, particularly around like their midsection. They're feeling more tired even after they've slept a long night. They're struggling maybe with some bloating or digestive issues. Their periods start to become a little bit more irregular. They're starting to maybe have some more mood swings and,
I feel like you're just calling me out with everything. Like, continue, please.
Yeah, they're like walking into a room and they're like, okay, why was I here? And then you go back and then you're like, okay, now I remember. Now you go back to where you were heading to. So like those are some of the like signs and symptoms that women don't often always recognize or even connect the dots that those symptoms may be related to like actual being in perimenopause. And I think too, like it's just a sign that our bodies, especially for women, like, we just say, oh, I'm just tired. I'm just overworked. I'm stressed. Like, the kids are driving me crazy. Work is crazy. Or I'm just getting older, right? But in reality, those subtle changes is our body's ways of saying like, hey, I need some help. We need some support.
Yeah. I love that. I saw this thing the other day that said like, is your check engine light on and are you ignoring it? But like meaning like your body, like are
Yeah,
you having all these, is your check engine light on and you're just ignoring it? Like we
exactly.
sometimes do when it's the car. So,
Yeah. I know. I tell them like fix your body, aka your car, your empire before the transmission goes out.
yes, yes,
And all the lights on the dashboard are all on. You're like, what does this mean?
yeah, it's time. We're in an emergency situation now.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah. Um, so I mean, you already mentioned some of the symptoms, but
Yeah.
do you find that, I mean, what's the best way to go about like slowing down or like, I don't want to say preventive because obviously like, we all want to age and that's just kind of part of it. But like, what's the best way to combat some of those symptoms that you're having?
Yeah. So I would say the best way to combat them is first to know why you're having them. Because the female sex hormones, so progesterone, estrogen, testosterone, the signs and symptoms of those being imbalanced can also be other things too. So it could maybe it's a thyroid problem. Maybe it's an adrenal cortisol problem, right? Maybe it's an insulin resistance problem. But we don't know what the problem is to combat the issue if we're just going to guess. And I think that that is one of the biggest problems right now that we're having. While menopause is having a moment, is what I like to say. It's all over social media. It's all the celebrities are talking about it. But you can't combat something if you don't really know why you're having that problem. And I think that that's really key for women to know because they're maybe like, okay, great, I'm not sleeping, so I'm going to take this supplement. Or I'm not, like I'm a little bit irritable, so now I'm going to do this. Or I'm gaining weight, so now I'm going to try this new fat diet. And we're on every diet known to man, we're on all the supplements known to man, whatever we find on Dr. Google. And we're like, why isn't this working? Why isn't this, but it's because you haven't quite addressed the root cause of it. So I always tell women the first key to being able to combat your symptoms is actually to get some comprehensive blood testing done. That way you can actually know what it is that you're treating and what really is causing your symptoms.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's fantastic. Where you do like telehealth, can we do it? Like, obviously we're not local or we're not local to you, but can we do that and still have it shipped to you? Like if people want to work with you directly, that are here, can we have our test results sent to you?
Yes, you can.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I partner with a lab company called Rupa Health. They actually, when I order tests for my clients, they ship the kit to the patient.
Mhm.
And then I have them usually go to their local LabCorp and get their blood drawn. And then LabCorp ships the to back to Rupa Health, and Rupa Health, gets the results and they email them over to me. And my clients also get the same email. So we get the email at the exact same time, which is what I do love because I like being transparent with my clients.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I love that. So let's talk about, are there any like myths or misconceptions about menopause that you wish that more women understood?
There is tons of myths.
Okay.
Lots
Give us
of them. Okay.
some.
So I think the biggest one again is that women think menopause happens overnight. We think that it is just like one day, after we've counted down 12 months of not having a period. Oh, great, it's finally here. But it actually is a gradual process that starts anywhere between 3 to 10 years before that last menstrual period. So that is definitely myth number one. I think myth number two is that women feels like when they officially hit menopause that, they're like this old lady or like they've lost the end of their vitality. But I just want women to know that menopause is not the end. It literally just means that, yes, you have, your reproductive abilities are probably coming to an end, but you have so much more life ahead of you. The average woman in America goes to menopause at 52. 52 nowadays is young. So there's with the right support that you can really thrive in this stage of your life. And I think that with the right tools and the right support, we really do support women and help them so that they actually age gracefully for the remainder of their lives. And I would say the biggest menopause myth is that hormone replacement therapy is dangerous. I am hoping that in this setting of menopause having a moment, that we are actually doing our very, very due diligence of informing women that hormone replacement therapy is not dangerous when started at the right time, under the right medical guidance. getting a personalized plan that's just for you. Women thrive on hormone replacement therapy. It is known, it has been shown to protect your heart, protect your bones, protect your brain. And a lot of women are so fearful that, if they get on hormone replacement therapy, they're going to develop a blood clot, or they're going to have a stroke, or they're going to develop breast cancer. But I tell them, so is your glass of wine every night, sweetie. That's actually a bigger risk factor. So that is one thing.
What does hormone replacement therapy look like? Because I've heard the term, I have no knowledge of
Yeah.
what that is.
So hormone replacement therapy looks like a lot of different things. So that is replacing the estrogen, the progesterone, and the testosterone that slowly but surely declines as women age, and that is giving them back those hormones. So hormone replacement therapy can be in the form of, a pill. It can be in the form of creams, patches. Nowadays we're doing pellets. So there's so many different options out there now. And even like the FDA recently approved a patch for women in estrogen that like a very low dose, like 0.025 milligrams per day, super small, but that is enough to protect the brain, the heart, and the bones. So even if they're not having symptoms, we have found that there's just so much in it. So that is like, there's just so many ways that we can replace women's hormones. Now injections too. So there's just a lot of different things that we can do there.
I love that because I feel like some people are like, they don't want to take pills, or they don't want to do injections, or they don't want to do patches. Like, so I like that there are a lot of different ways now too, because it can kind of be based on like the person's preference.
A lot of different ways. Yeah.
Okay. I was like, depending on what hormone it is. Okay.
Yes. Depending on what hormone it is, depending on the preference of the woman, whatever works best with her lifestyle. Like there's just so many things that we can do. Hormone replacement therapy is not a one-stop fits all. Like it is what is truly personalized to the woman that is sitting or physically in front of you. And what can we do to help her with her lifestyle, her goals, what it is that she wants, and things like that.
And when you do that with therapy, does it like teach your body to start creating these, or are you going to be on these the rest of your life?
So a lot of women are on hormone replacement therapy for the symptom management of their symptoms. So for the hot flashes, the irritability, the brain fog. We used to believe that when women got to be the age of 60, that we had to take them off of all of their hormones because they were too old to be on their hormones. And that was because of the fear from the women's health study that came out in the early 2000s that was saying that, all this breast cancer as women get older. But there's now new data, new research that shows that as long as this woman does not have any medical contraindications, that there's no reason why she cannot be on her hormone replacements. She may not need to the same level as when she was in her 40s or her 50s, but she can still benefit from them even in her 60s and 70s.
Okay. No, that's awesome. And that's good information. I feel like, I don't know, sometimes you feel like it has to, I don't know, like you said, stop because that's, the last research we heard 25 years ago or whatever.
Exactly. Yeah. That's another myth too, is that you're never too old and you're never too young.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. I feel old these days, but I guess
you are not old, Nicole.
What can women do in their 30s or 40s to help like prepare themselves to like transition better into perimenopause and into menopause?
So I think a lot of things that women can do in their 30s and 40s, I think one, recognizing that they're not too young and that they are probably having some perimenopause symptoms in their 30s and 40s. We have realized that even in their mid 30s, women are starting to have some of these symptoms. So there's a lot that we can do. I think the biggest thing that women can do is really work on managing their stress differently. And I'm not saying that, we all hear stress management. Oh, you got to really, manage your stress. But that really does play a huge role because these high cortisol levels, when we're always in this fight or flight mode, that actually starts to deplete our hormones, like our progesterone, our testosterone, and our estrogen. So it is really important that we have strategic stress management. And that is one of the things that I help clients with the assistance of my health coach and my life coach. Like we really do help these women to figure out how to have true stress management. But I think another thing is optimizing your muscle health. Like I think we think about when we go to the gym, like we're going to just do a bunch of cardio because we want to be thin. We don't want to have this belly fat. But I tell all of my clients when you're in your 30s and 40s, like you can lift some heavy weights, like under the guidance of like a proper, trainer. I don't want you to go hurt yourself if you've never done this before. But you really want to start to protect your bones in your early 30s and 40s so that when you're in your 60s, 70s, 80s, like you're not having osteoporosis. So strength training is just as important, if not more important, than just doing traditional cardio and running on a treadmill or running outside. And I would also tell them to really watch what they're eating, because a lot of processed foods, high sugar foods, those things could put us at risk for having insulin resistance. That's where you're getting that mid-belly section fat that you don't really want. These blood sugar spikes because we're not eating correctly and eating properly. So those are the things that I feel like women should be doing now in their 30s and 40s, like really being strategic about what they're putting in their mouth, what they're putting in their bodies, what they're exposing themselves to, because there are things called endocrine disruptors, that, what we put on our face and our beauty products. I tell my clients, if you can't read it, it probably means you shouldn't use it. What you're cleaning
That's
your
fair.
house with and all of those things. So like just being cognizant of what you're exposing your body to and then what you're putting inside of your body, and setting that foundation now in your 30s and your 40s so that as you transition into menopause, you have a solid foundation on the lifestyle things, and we're not having to rewire your brain or rewire your entire routine to try to add these things later in life.
Yeah. No, I think that's super smart. And I mean, like you said, you're never too young to, do good things for your body. But the one thing I thought was interesting is like the strength training,
Yes.
because I feel like, and I could be wrong, but I feel like most of the time, like women are like, oh no, women do cardio, men do like weights. And
Yes.
so I feel like it's always just drilled in our head, like more cardio, more cardio, more cardio.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah, that's
yeah,
another myth too, because when I tell women I'm going to put them on testosterone replacement therapy, they're like, Mariah, I don't like the Incredible Hulk. Like, I'm like, you have more testosterone in your body, believe it or not, than your husband. Okay. Like, it is just work a little bit differently, but it's the same thing.
yeah,
And so I think it's really important that we understand like why women are at increased risk of osteoporosis is because we don't do the weight training. We start to lose our estrogen when we're in our, going through this perimenopause transition, whereas our male counterparts, that doesn't happen to them. So it's really important that you try to lift as much heavy weights as you can. And no, I'm not telling you that, you got to go and, dumbbell or 60 pounds, but I think you need to put down your little 1, 2, 3 pound, 5 pound weights, pick up maybe some
somewhere in the
10,
middle.
somewhere in the middle, where you're actually utilizing your muscles and you're building strong muscles, because we do know that as we all age, we will lose some muscle tone. So if you don't have muscle tone already to begin with, what does that look like when you get older?
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
that's a good point. I love that. That's so many good things. I feel like I have questions like popping up in my head, but I don't want to like waste your time.
You were never wasting my time. I love educating women about this. So this is definitely my passion. I could talk about this like literally all day.
I love that though. So if someone is scared of like the hormone replacement therapy, is there options available that are, I don't want to say naturally because I feel like that probably is fairly natural, but is there other natural things they could be doing to help with the hormones?
Yes, there are things that they can be doing to regulate their hormones. And I think a lot of it goes back to the things that are causing the issues, right? So for women, because there are women that just cannot do hormone replacement therapy. Like they've had some type of cancer, they've had a known blood clot, like they're just medically, there's a reason why they can't. But there are supplements that I think women can take. I am a big proponent of magnesium glycinate. I'll make sure that's in the show notes for you ladies.
I was like, we're gonna need that right now.
It really does help women to be able to kind of like relax, to kind of get some good sleep. Magnesium glycinate is just really good for our bodies. But thinking about things like vitamin D, right? So we don't get enough vitamin D in this country, like especially since COVID, we're not outside as much as we used to be. Kids don't even play outside like they used to. So just a nice vitamin D supplement. Omega-3 fatty acids is really good to be able to help your body with the metabolism, help decrease inflammation. Like there's just so many supplements that women can take and to do things that are like more natural or not actual hormone replacement therapy. But I also again say that before you guys just like run off to the store, because Mariah has just listed off her 3 favorite supplements, right? Don't just rush off to the store and start those things because they may not be what you need right now, right? So again, it again goes back to figuring out what actually your body needs and not just building a supplement wholesale in your house because you've gotten so many of them. But I think another thing too is again doing those lifestyle things. So watching what you're eating, because inflammation, you know, as we know, or as we may not know, is going to further exacerbate your symptoms. So what can you be doing to your body, you know, to make sure that you're doing things that will reduce inflammation? So that's moving your body, that's eating anti-inflammatory foods, you know, like that's watching all this high sugar, high fat things, you know, limiting your alcohol intake. But I think another thing that women can do, which we don't, which I encourage all of my clients to do, is to get a journal, because there is definitely patterns in the symptoms. So if you can just like note, like, you know, okay, how are you feeling today? You know, a month later, like, do you see a pattern that around every time this time of month, you're kind of feeling this way? So then you're a little bit more strategic and aware of what you're doing and what's going on, right? Or, you know, if you want to eat, you know, let's just say Chick-fil-A, I'm just going to throw that out there. But how did that make you feel? Right? Like, because if it didn't really, you didn't feel great afterwards, then maybe you don't want to eat that now, right? Or if you just had that, you know, glass of wine and you're like, okay, I usually am a little bit more tired, but now I feel like I can't go sleep at all. Like you just got to really be strategic and think about what is it that you're doing during the day and what are you putting in your body and how is that making you feel? Because you will definitely notice some patterns. And I think when you start to notice those patterns, and you kind of know what you can do personally to be able to start like eliminating those things.
Yeah. No, I love that. And I do feel like when we're stressed, like we just pick something up on the way home and then we go home and we're on the home routine. I feel like we don't, I mean, maybe it's just me, but like, I feel like I don't take the time to be like, okay, but how do I feel now that I had Chick-fil-A for lunch or like
Right.
whatever? So no, I think that's great advice. And I also love to like start where you are. So start by journaling, start by
Mhm.
doing the blood work, start by like wherever you're at and work from there. So
Yeah. Because
no, I
again,
love
it's
that.
very personalized. And I tell people all the time, like even like sisters or identical twin sisters, what works for one does not work for the other. So it really is, you know, what works for you and not what works for your best friend, that works for your neighbor, but what's going to work for your body.
Yeah. Um, and I'm sure that I'm sure you go over this with like your individual clients. Um, the supplements that you did mention, are there certain brands? I've heard that it's better to get like liquid vitamins. That way your body absorbs them better. Is that necessarily true? That's something I heard a very long time ago.
I don't know if I'd say there's a whole bunch of truth in that. It depends
Okay.
on the type of vitamin. So there are some vitamins and nutrients that are just absorbed better in certain forms, whether that's liquid form or a capsule form or a tablet form. So I think that would depend on the exact supplement that it is. But what I will say, this is my plug. I tell this to every single woman that I know. Um, where you get your supplements from matters. So I think when we think about convenience, we sometimes will just get our supplements from our local pharmacies or our local grocery stores or on Amazon. But you have no control over how those supplements are stored, and what type of environments they're in. And if they're not in the proper environment, you could actually probably be like, you know, so they could be like something could be happening to the way that they function and absorb, because now, you know, they were sitting in a hot room in the warehouse before they made it to your house. Like that probably has impacted the vitamin and the supplement. So I always tell clients that you want to buy your supplements directly from the company themselves, because they have the regulations and they have one, first of all, they made these supplements so they know exactly how they need to be stored, what packaging needs to be stored from. You know that exactly, for example, you're getting that supplement directly from that person and directly from that company, versus if you're buying it from a third party, you have no idea where it's coming from. We've heard all these horror stories of, you know, what was supposed to be in the bottle, was it really in the bottle? So I just want to tell women to be safe. Just buy your supplements directly from the supplement company themselves. Just because we just know for a fact that what's in the bottle is in the bottle, it's been regulated, it's been tested, and that you know that you're getting what you're supposed to be getting.
That's literally something I've never even thought about. So that's very smart and like such good information because yeah, I would just be like, oh, they said to get it in this form, and I found it on Amazon or CVS or whatever. So
Exactly. Yeah. Get them from directly from the company.
yeah, no, that's super good information. Um, all right, I think that's all like the questions I had lined out for you. But is there anything you want to share with us? Our audience is mainly, I'd say 30 to 40, well, probably like 30 to 50-year olds, but
The prime women. So
I go
yeah,
ahead.
I think my biggest takeaway out of all of this is just that I want every woman to know that going through this menopause transition does not mean that your body's broken. It does not mean that, you're just getting too old. Menopause is not anything that can necessarily be fixed, quote unquote. Like we're all going to go through perimenopause and this menopause transition if we live long enough. And there's not anything that we have done wrong to our bodies. Like this is just a natural part of aging. And I love to tell women the Oprah story because Oprah tells her menopause journey, and we all know Oprah. She has billions of dollars and unlimited resources, but it still took 5 doctors for them to realize that Oprah's heart palpitations was related to perimenopause. So hot flashes by itself is not the only symptom. There are 34 cardinal symptoms of menopause or perimenopause. So it's not in your head. This is a hormonal transition, and I want every woman that's listening to this podcast to share this with somebody else because one, there's strength in numbers. And when we truly support each other, then we're able to be even stronger women. But also, don't let anyone dismiss you. If you're truly feeling the way that you're feeling, do not settle for that antidepressant when you know you're not depressed. You know you're not anxious, right? It's not all in your head. But find somebody who is really going to listen to you, who's really going to make you feel heard, who's going to make you feel seen, and who's going to partner with you to get you the support that you need during this transition, because it's not just, your issue, it's a woman's health issue. And perimenopause and this menopause transition, it greatly impact women in how we show up in this world, how we, show up for our work, how we show up for our families. So you need to be supported with the right community and with the right support system, because in America alone, we lose 1.8 billion with the B dollars annually due to women either coming out of the workforce altogether, not taking the promotions that they wanted to take, or stepping down from work, decreasing their work hours, all due to their menopause symptoms. And that is not okay, especially in 2025. Because prior to the women's health study, we were giving hormones to women like it was candy. And then this study came and changed society's perspective, and we're still dealing with the fears of that. But I just want to really empower women. I want to encourage you to know that you are worth standing up for. And if the doctor or the healthcare provider that you're sitting in front of, if they're dismissing you, go find another one because you're worth it.
I love that. I have spent the last decade working on like empowering women, and as you're saying it, like I'm like, you're my person. Like this is exactly. I love the way you're like explaining it and saying it, and also like Oprah's doctors weren't like random doctors. Like she has the money
Exactly.
and the means to have like the best doctors you could find. So the fact it took her 5 doctors,
Yes. She
I
says one of them
haven't
were
heard that story
female
before.
too.
That's ridiculous. Yeah.
Yes.
So
She said one of them was female and she had a cardiac stress test. Like a waste of healthcare dollars.
that's crazy. But yes, and I agree. Like when you mentioned like the ages, like I always tell people like it's not too late to like have a photo shoot because I'm a photographer. But I'm like it's not too late. Like you're never going to be younger than you are right now. And yeah, just the way you're explaining it like makes total sense. And
Yeah.
I love that you're here empowering women because that's literally what I'm all about. So I'm so
Yes.
happy you wanted to participate in our first call. So that's
Yeah,
so
I
good.
appreciate you for the invitation, and
Yes.
just reaching out to me. This is an honor. I love to be on any platform where I can just educate women and give them like the the real knowledge that they're missing, because we get so much misinformation on
Yeah.
social media, on Dr. Google, that a lot of women just get lost or they just stop altogether because like these things are contraindicating each other. I don't know what to do. I just feel so lost. I feel so hopeless. So
Yeah.
I love to be able to use my medical knowledge to be able to empower and educate as many women as I possibly can.
I love that. And then if any of our viewers and listeners want to find you, I'm going to have you send it to me also, but how can they find you? Like, what's your handle? What's your web address?
Yes, I can be found on Instagram. I am Mariah Prince Allen, my name. I am also Mariah Prince Allen on Facebook, Mariah Prince Allen on LinkedIn. You can find me at mariahprinceallen.com. You can
Made it
also my
easy.
yes, made it very easy. And then my business is telehealthforher.com. The for is spelled out, FOR. We have an Instagram page. We also have a website. It's www.telehealthforher.com. And then also we have a LinkedIn. So you can find us on all of those platforms, either me or my business. If you happen to find one, you'll definitely find the other. We have them kind of linked together as well. And then also in the show notes, I will also give Nicole my perimenopause ebook that I wrote. It's an 11-page document that has so much information in there for women. It's easy to digest. It's give you some tips and tricks of what to do, and kind of where to get started in this space. So I would love to be able to share that with you ladies as well.
Well, that would be fantastic. I love that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes, I think that's everything. So thank you so much.
You're
Um,
welcome. This was so fun. This was so good. And I want to thank you again for giving me this platform to use my voice to educate the women that are here, that are listening today.
yes, thank you so much.
Thank you.
That's a wrap on this episode of Women Should Know. Did you love it? Then hit the subscribe button, leave a review, and share it with a friend. You can also find me on social media under Women Should Know, because the conversation doesn't stop here. I'll see you next time. Bye!